My name is Rosemary Chada. I'm the wife of Robbie McCarter. The first person of the Chada family to come here was my grandfather, Benarsi Das Chada, and he came here in 1932. My father told me that he was travelling from India to Denmark, but the boat broke down, and he had decided, at one stage the ship stopped at Marseille, and he realised that the next stop would be Copenhagen. However, due to the boat breaking down, the next stop was actually Derry. So he just decided to get off there. What he did was he managed to buy small things, especially ties, and he used to go to the railway station and he would hold out his arms with the ties over his arm, and businessmen getting off the train would buy the ties from him. And gradually he made enough money and was able to set up a shop, and he just kept on doing well. In 1939 he brought his wife, two brothers and a cousin here to visit him. But the war started, Second World War, and civilians were not allowed to travel. So they had to stay here for all of the war. Yeah, they had expected to be here maybe for a couple of months, and were actually here for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what happened. In that time, the business prospered. The shop was called Chada Brothers, and the corner boot stores. It was actually two shops they had opened, and Chada Brothers sold shoes, and the corner boot store. No, Chada Brothers sold clothes, and the corner boot stores sold shoes, and they did shoe repairs. And that was a business that was at the bottom of Waterloo Street in Derry here, and it was pretty well known because it was two shops beside each other. You know, right beside each other. I grew up. Our family lived in Prehen Park, which is about a mile and a half outside Derry itself. It was quite an isolated area of the town, and because we lived there, it was kind of exempt from all the troubles and everything, because it was sort of cut off. And so we lived there, all the children round about all played together, and it was a very good place to live. My family, I'm the oldest of 6. How I met my husband was I joined the civil service, and he and I worked in the same office.
Office romance.
Yes. And we went out with each other for 5.5 years, which is, I think it's quite long. And then we got married. My husband is a Christian, so we decided to have a Hindu wedding and a Christian wedding, which was very, very difficult to make all the arrangements for, because it hadn't been done before. So there was nobody we could ask, and we used to spend ages in my parents' house sitting round the table, and somebody would come up with an idea, and then somebody else would come up with some better idea, and it it took a long time to just get things, you know, to get everything right. And we got married on the 10th of June 1980. And we've been married ever since. So that's 34 years.
My goodness.
Yeah, and it's a long time. It's a long time, yeah. But that's how long we're married for. It's roasted rice.
Oh, okay.
As the ceremony is going on, you throw rice and sugar into that fire.
Okay.
The bride and groom do that.
Okay.
And throw it on as we're getting married.
Okay. And what does that symbolise then?
It's just for your well-being.
Just for, okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely an event.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of people
Yeah.
at the weddings.
We had 208 people at our wedding.
Right.
That dress was actually bought in Belfast
Okay.
in Jean Miller's
Oh, yes.
bridal salon.
It's still there now.
Is that still
Yeah,
there?
It's still there, yeah. Castle Court.
Is it right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, Castle Court wasn't built.
No.
No. But that's where we bought it. We'd been round Pro Nuptia and a few other shops, but Jean Miller
That was the one. Yeah.
That was the one. Well, we got a video of our wedding done as well.
Okay.
And the videos were just started at that time. And people used to come. The night after we got married, Robbie can tell you the number. There was a huge number of people down at my parents' house to see this video.
Right.
And people used to come to us and say, could I see your video? Yeah, call round tonight. I brought my friend with me. And, you know, and you said, yeah, that's fine, you know.
It was a bit of a spectacle then.
Yeah.
To see. I suppose people were interested in the different traditions that they wouldn't know about.
We got married and the wedding dresses were very plain. And then the next year, Diana got married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then came the big, beautiful, huge,
That
gorgeous
changed
big
everything.
dresses, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas mine was, you know, it was a lovely dress and all that, but it wasn't spectacular the way that they became after that.
After that.
You know.
And which one do you think was more important to you? Was it the Indian dress or was it... They both had good value.
Yeah,
I
mean,
suppose.
they
Was
were
the
both
day
important.
probably.
Yeah, you know, and it was just important that we both got married the way that we wanted to. And
when the plane door opened, I wished I wasn't there.
Right.
I wished I'd been never left little old Derry. The plane door opened, I wished I wasn't there.
Right.
I wished I'd been never left little old Derry. The smell was overwhelming, and I was put right away into seeing poor people,
Right.
as opposed to what we call poor. And the smells, the heat, the night, the activity, the life was so unusual to me. And this was my first visit outside the British Isles.
Okay.
3 weeks we were there, which was very good. We toured quite a bit. Rosemary may have told you. We went up north, then we went down. We went up to the Sikh temple. And then I was on a train from Pathankot to Bombay for 26 hours. And, our first night in India, we were in Delhi, and we got a taxi, and the taxi man put us into a hotel, and it was empty. And all we could get to eat was chicken and chips.
Chicken and chips.
Chicken and chips. There was no fancy Indian food. Chicken and chips.
Right.
But we also had great ups and downs. We had fair weather and foul insofar as we had ups and downs, and we might have stayed in a hotel one night which cost us £70 each, and we may have stayed then for 3 nights in another very much tourist basic hotel for maybe £10 for all of us for 3 nights, which was absolutely rough. But unless you go there and see it and live in it, and that's that. In Bombay, I had to keep my cases at a certain part of my bedroom, as I stayed in the Bishop's Palace for one night. But people would come up and maybe try and take your case out and things like that. And there was like what I thought was small alligators running about the room, but I was assured they wouldn't touch me. So, but that was okay. And just everything was so different.
The food and things like that? What did
Well,
you
the
think?
food-
Did you
the
try
fo-
the Indian food the first time?
I
you-
tried, of course. Oh yeah, I tried the Indian food, but I'd been used.
Oh yeah, you.
I had been down in Rosemary's house since '74,
Okay.
and I could swing a chapati like anybody. And I just found it a lot of it strange. The toilet's very strange. Heat very hot, and sometimes he's got some nice surprises. Other times you might see a man walking along the street or a back road dressed as the monkey god with a tail covered in muck. So different. But then again, over here you see a monk dressed up, and you just dress differently. One thing I remember about a couple of things stick in my mind. We stayed in a hotel away up north, away up in Amritsar and away up above it, Jammu, Kashmir, and to stand out at night and look up at the Himalayas and is a fantastic memory. And what I think about travelling now is, people have said to me even recently, so what, you travelled here and you travelled there. I says, well, when I'm sitting, I have such memories of where I was and with my wife and with other places and some. I just love those memories because it just makes me feel good. I went up to Chandigarh and I stayed with Rosemary's uncle, who had been. Did Rosemary tell you about this?
I don't think.
We went up and we stayed with Rosemary's father's uncle, who spent most of his life in Kenya. Did she tell you?
She very briefly, but you go on.
And Rosemary's father lived in Kenya as well for a number of years. Eldritch. And after the Mau Mau and after the freedom of India, freedom of Kenya, Kenyatta asked Rosemary's granduncle to stay on, as he wanted to keep some Indians there to go up his police force. He was a senior policeman, and Kenyatta told him if he stayed on, he would build him a house anywhere in the world, give him a Kenyan pension along with his British pension. Did she tell you that?
No.
So I stayed in a house at the bungalow. The name bungalow comes from India, as you know. The bungalow was built by Kenyatta's government for him, and it had wee bells on the back of the chairs. And so he had that money from Kenya and from the British, because he worked for the British when they ran Kenya. And that's an interesting man as well, very nice man, very helpful man. And he came over for my wedding. So when we were in Kenya years later, we didn't get to Eldoret, but we met an Indian who was born here, cousin of Rosemary's. And it was nice to go out there as well and be among people and see people who from that culture as well.